Stories that 50 years later can now be told. Okay?
Some of it, like, children need to leave. Because Mr. Aaron stopped telling a story when I watched it earlier.
Okay, so here, let me start.
Yes, children can leave if they need to.
Yes.
May I ask a question? Like, we need to know the setting, so like, this was you guys in Amsterdam?
No, we're going to give you the setting.
Ooh, zip doors.
Oh my God. Where's his mind in the gutter? Okay.
You're the one that lives
Tijuana
So
Harry.
obviously, this was Cheeser and I when we were cadets. I think all of you, well,
Wait a second.
Uh-oh.
Ladies, we're quite the catch. Honestly, right? I mean, look at those shots.
slaves to
Who wouldn't want to hook themselves into us, right?
that's exactly right.
Exactly.
So when we got to Company A3, we were plebes. There were only two city boys in the company. Cheeser from Brooklyn, me from Queens, and we always had the benefit of being able to go home on weekends because we lived close by. And Cheese and I, as you can see,
home plebe year? Holy shit.
well,
I think it was Amsterdam.
so you can see us. This is actually in my house. We were having a couple of drinks, enjoying a weekend together.
Are you
But-
guys holding hands?
Jerry, the rest of us dated women.
It's okay, Jerry, we're not judging.
Anyway,
How's this going so far?
I'm getting more laughs from your story than mine. So here's the story. Cheeser and I, we were asked to take two gals from Long Island to a prom.
Yes.
A colonel at West Point asked Cheeser and I, since we were city guys, to take two gals from Long Island to a prom. Now, as city guys, you have one rule. Really, two. Don't ever date a girl from Long Island. And don't ever date a girl from Jersey. One out of two ain't bad. One out of two ain't bad. So,
Didn't see that one coming.
Cheeser and I actually got our blues. We had all great intentions of taking these beautiful ladies from Long Island, what we call the land of clown makeup, big hair, and bad accents. We were going to take them to their prom. We even got dressed
Bought
blues.
tickets.
Everything.
All nine
This is
yards.
her high school prom?
Yeah, were these underage girls?
Obviously. Obviously.
That's a Merkel question.
Obviously. So,
Who invited that guy? Why is he here?
a lot of guys don't know this story because you and I kind of kept it secret. We were so ashamed. So we
Jeffrey Epstein tried.
Are we recording this? This is how
I'm recording.
I'm not putting this on your website.
You're not, but we are.
Keep recording. You know, my son will, I'm sure.
So anyway, this story is never going to end. Anyway, so Cheeser and I had all great intentions of taking these young ladies to their prom. And in fact, if I remember, we actually got in the car and started driving out to the island. Right? We didn't So, did we come from my house?
So, to pick up the story,
Oh, God.
my classmate has maybe forgotten some of the details. We went up to a Major Jacobs house. And
Yes.
Major Jacobs was a Medal of Honor winner.
Major Jack Jacobs.
Colonel Jack Jacobs. Yep. And
We screwed a Medal of Honor. Holy Jesus.
I called from his bedroom because
Oh, that's right.
we got concerned that our ladies would be worried that we weren't showing up.
Yeah, so don't tell them what you said on the phone yet.
Yeah.
Don't tell them what you said on the phone. So we called from the back. You talked to them though.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
You have a witness?
Through the annals,
Just me, sorry.
through the annals of history, there are famous words that none of us could ever forget. Julius Caesar, I came, I saw, I conquered.
Walk with a big stick.
Right. MacArthur, there's no substitute for victory.
Exactly.
Caesar gets on the phone with these debutantes who have paid a lot of money for formals, hair, all that, waiting for us to come pick them up.
Are we ready?
Caesar says,
Guess what, Cinderella? You're not coming to the ball. Wonderful. Right in the moment, right? Yeah.
okay, so
And then we get a phone call. We get a phone call. This doesn't end. It never does at West Point.
Brooklyn Ball.
That's exactly what it is.
sorry.
I chose them, right? Not gonna stiff us.
So I never got what's called at West Point a slug, where you get demerits and
You never
hours.
got one?
Oh, it's
I had
coming.
never gotten one up to this
50
point.
years later.
Yes. Yes.
Those are other stories that.
Yes, he did.
Am I allowed to hear those stories?
Oh, absolutely. You will hear those
But
stories.
thanks to his, sorry Cinderella, you ain't going to the ball, we came back to West Point to find a slug.
Yeah. No, we had to go see our TAC officer.
Yeah, didn't he slug us?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You're right.
I have to tell you guys a part of the story you don't even know.
Somebody's taking my pants down.
So,
Merck took him to the ball.
both of them. Jack Jacobs was a Medal of Honor winner from Vietnam.
Yes.
He was 5'1" and he weighed 114 pounds. And he had the Medal of Honor and 6 silver stars. And when he showed up at my battalion, when I was the S3 out at Fort Ord, he was the XO. I got to know him really well, and I asked him one time how he got the Medal of Honor. And he said, I was an advisor to the Arvin, and he goes, we were crossing a river with a headquarters group, and when we got across the river, the North Vietnamese had an L-shaped ambush that they tripped on us. And he said, all of our supporting unit was on the other side of the river, and he said almost immediately the headquarters group was killed or wounded. And he said, I had to make a decision really quick. And he said, I grouped everybody together and I got in a defensive position. And he said, I did what I could do. And he said, a Vietnamese jumped out of the bushes and he shot me in the head. And I said, well, sir, what did you do? And he said, I got really pissed off. And he said, my 45 didn't work. And so I pulled out an entrenching tool and I hacked his head off.
God.
And I said, what did he do? And he said, he just stood there looking at me in shock because he had just shot me in the head. So these two knuckleheads just pissed off a guy. And I'm still in contact with him. And I'm going to put him in contact with you.
Please do.
Well, there is a happy ending to this.
By the time you were supposed to leave, you were just floored?
Yeah, yeah. No, we have been drinking too much. But no, and then thinking back now, 50 years later, it was probably not a really good movie. But there is a happy ending because several years later, popular Saturday Night Live skit used us.
Here we are.
Wild and crazy guys. All right, that's my first story that took like half an hour. Craig asked
All right.
to talk to this. Craig?
Goats. Oh, this is goats. This is so lame in comparison to
Okay.
What happens to
There are two threads.
Got it?
Yes.
what happens to those of us that weren't smart enough or dumb enough to be
It's funny you should ask. It's funny you should ask because Cal year we were faced with, if you were interested in playing the game and you were buried in the middle of the class and you had to make a decision. And the decision was, do I want to study my ass off so that I can be in the top 25% of the class a week before the game?
I don't have that much ass.
You're not the only one. Or do I want to tank my grades so that I can be a goat? And so I made the logical decision that anyone in my position would. And I went into classes where we had writs and I turned them in without any answers at all. And so I got pulled to the side by several Ps who said, what's going on? And I explained to them, look, I don't want to study to be an engineer. Although they did win the game, right?
Yes, we did.
Right, Smitty? Smitty was
We
there.
won, Smitty.
And so I tanked my grades, and that's how I wound up being able to stand next to Cheeser and Stocker.
With the A3 Brain Trust.
I want to know why Stocker's not wearing a cup.
Not only wasn't a very good student, he wasn't a very good football player.
Segue and ride on GT's story. Sometime, I forget if it was yearling or cow year, they had a sign-up list to be an escort for it was the Czechoslovak American debutante ball in Manhattan.
Oh, God.
And so I signed up, I forget who I went with, there were 2 or 3 other guys, we all
It
signed
was
up.
a girl, doesn't matter what she was.
No, it turned out all of the girls were there with their boyfriends. They just wanted cadets in full dress gray to march them down these stairs. But the catch
They
was,
really got
on
us to
ours,
sign up for
we got all the booze we could drink free and $20.
That's a pretty good hustle.
I was a paid
Until now.
So the next time, ask for $20.
This was at the end of yearling year, right? So we got our assignments for the summer, and I was going to Airborne and AOT, which is now called CTLT. Steve Seminoff, who's actually in the picture below that, he was rooming with us too, and he was going to Wichita State to go play football. Okay, and then Luigi was there too, and Luigi was going to flight school. So we were trying to figure out what to do, and so I saw this model airplane thing, and this is one of those things. It's not remote control or anything else like that. It's just on a string. What you do, you fire up the engine, and you just have it circle around in a circle. Until literally you get dizzy, you fall over, or whatever. Right? But so I got this. I said this might be kind of fun to do. So you can see that we're actually on the soccer field here. The plane is behind us, behind the parking lot. And Steve and I tried to fire this thing up, and we fired it up, and it rolled down a little bit, and it because of the roughness of the area, it just kind of took a nosedive and stopped. And so we did that about 4 or 5 times and said, all right, we need a flat surface to go do this, right? And so we actually went on the plane.
Oh, very good idea.
And, we used the diagonal walk as our runway. Right? And so, of course, as soon as you get onto the plane, and this model airplane is making a lot of noise, you got a lot of people leaning out their windows, yelling and screaming at us. Okay, and then I managed to get it up a little bit until I got dizzy and tried to land the thing and kind of tumbled over a couple of times. And then Luigi came up there and says, "Hey, I'm going to flight school. I know how to do this." So, you know, we fire the engine up and everything else like that. It runs on down the the diagonal walk and then kind of takes off and it's gaining altitude. It looks really, really good. It starts to go ahead and start really going up high. And I'm thinking, oh, what is he doing? Loop. Right? And then he loops it over and it comes straight down and it smashes the thing.
That's that.
Right? And of course, like I said, we had such a big audience by this time that he got a standing ovation. Right? So that was we never played with model airplanes after that. And that's it.
Great story. That's a great one.
We go around to all of the branches to get orientated to, you know, what the different branches have to entail, and we go down to the armor school. And General Patton's son was the commandant of the armor school at the time, and they brought debutantes down to meet us.
From where?
From the local colleges.
Meet Kentucky girls.
Kentucky. So I get introduced to my date for the night, and she's a beautiful young woman, and she's intelligent, and so she quickly concludes that I'm a complete waste of time.
How true.
So after about 30 minutes, we could tell we're wasting each other's time. And I said, look, I know there's a lot of really handsome guys here, and you've got your eye on somebody else, so I don't blame you, you know, just have a good night. And she goes, are you sure? And I said, yeah, no hard feelings. So she leaves, and I'm sitting there drinking beer, and this really ugly bulldog comes up. And he starts humping on my leg. And I'm thinking, well, this is probably the best I'm going to do. I start pouring beer down into a little glass. And this bulldog keeps drinking the beer. And so after about an hour, the bulldog's getting kind of drunk and I'm getting kind of drunk.
And he's starting to look good, right?
I'm starting to see a future. So I go into the men's room and I'm sitting there at the urinal.
With the bulldog?
Oh, jeez.
Sitting at the urinal.
And this gentleman comes up beside me, and he's in the urinal beside me, and he goes, well, cadet, he goes, are you enjoying yourself tonight? And I said, well, sir, not really. I said, I was with a really pretty woman. She didn't have much interest in me, but I said, things really turned for the better. I said, I met this ugly bulldog, and I said, I think I've got him drunk. And he looked at me and he goes, what's your name, cadet?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Well, guess who that bulldog belonged to?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It belonged to General Patton's son,
Oh, God.
the commandant of the armor school.
Oh, jeez.
And guess what happened to me when I got back?
Oh, God.
Did not end well for me.
Oh, my God.
That's my debutante story. About the donkey.
Yeah.
It was bad. You see this motley crew there.
Yep.
And what had proceeded before this was actually just before I got married, before Dream of forced me to.
He's
And
already backing off.
everybody said, there was a day or so before, and they said, oh, you know, we've never been to Mexico.
Oh,
Really?
famous last words.
And it was where we lived there in Southern California. We were about 60 miles, 70 miles away. And we said, oh, okay. And you'll see the guy in the back left side, that was my friend Robbie Rodriguez, who I had gone
Oh, I
through.
thought that was Steve Tonello.
But he was there, and you see there were some other people that were actually, this was before our wedding, other people that showed up in different things like GT and some others. But you see the basic outline of the people involved in this particular little jaunt.
Yeah.
So Robbie and I were driving, and as I remember, Luigi had a green MGB, I think, right?
Yeah, a red Fiat.
No, the Spider, it was the Spider.
Okay.
He's close.
Well, so anyway, so we didn't have enough room for everybody. So Robbie was going to drive, and I was in the front seat, and like 3 others were in the back. And Luigi and Eric, were you with him?
Oh, no.
No, we saw what he did to the model airplane. Yeah.
Scott is my witness, I don't know the man.
Anyway, so what happened? We started driving down the freeway. And for those of us that had learned to drive in California, even back then in the 60s, if you had like a pickup truck and you had a beer can that had been empty for like a month, you know, and dry, but you'd thrown it in the back, if the California Highway Patrol, or what we affectionately called them as CHP, decided to get behind you and then stopped you and saw that, they could arrest you for DUI or driving while drinking, right? We had a bunch of ne'er-do-wells in this group that we were with.
No.
So they had brought like 6-packs.
Oh, God.
In the car I was in, as they started breaking out the Coors Light, because you couldn't get it east of the Mississippi.
That's right.
They're sitting back there slugging down Coors Lights, and I believe Luigi, and I think whoever his other buddy may have been, they may have been throwing beer cans out. But anyway, we're driving down, and we get about 10 miles from the border, and all of a sudden I see a familiar shape back behind us. The black and white car starts coming up, and he got in between the two of us, and he followed us for about the last 10 miles there, and I knew we were done. And the guy, I do not know why to this day, he never pulled us over, but we got to the border. So.
Oh, an escort.
Yeah. As long as you leave my country.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, see, the problem was these guys wouldn't have been in trouble. It was those of us in the front seat driving.
Yeah.
So we got through there, and they said, okay, now we're in TJ. We're going to go have some fun. So we start to go walking around, and they all want to look at, you know,
Stop.
what about
Stop.
enjoy the culture. And then,
Yeah, we were enjoying the culture.
It may have been Eric or Al, like Lou, I don't remember. Said, oh, can we find a bar?
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
So we did.
We're happy.
And we go into the bar, and I believe, they didn't have Pepsi Light back then. Anyway, so we started drinking, and sure enough, after a little bit, we were just having some fun, and then I see Merck
Yeah.
sitting over at the end of the table we're at, and there's this.
Bulldog with him?
There was this lovely senorita.
By this point, he had graduated from Bulldogs, but this
The donkey.
this young,
Don't talk about the donkey.
Well done. Well done.
but this young girl
Yes.
was over there like a bulldog. She was all over him. And so Merck was over like this, and she is nuzzling on him. And so Merck said to me, he said, Jim, help me here. So I told her, I said, él está diciendo que tú eres una buena chica.
Buena gay.
A really nice girl, right? I said, he thinks you're a really nice girl.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I said, y también él tiene mucho dinero.
Ah, yes, lots of money.
So she started. Oh, Merck the bulldog may have finished it off.
Now you know why I named my first son Jim.
Anyway, so this went on for a while, and finally Merck was getting a little too involved. And then Eric or Lou started talking about donkeys. And we decided we needed to leave. But anyway, so that's just kind of the scenario that's laid out. And luckily, we did all get back.
How we got out of how we got out of that bar? Did you ever see Antonio Banderas? He has the that Mexican trilogy where he walks into a bar with a guitar case.
Yeah.
Tell the cranberry part of this thing. No, tell the cranberry juice part.
What was that?
They were charging us $20
Right.
a shot.
Yeah.
And I took one of the shots from the girl, and I realized it wasn't alcohol. We were paying for their drinks. They were drinking cranberry juice.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I got really pissed off.
All I know is I remember we were about to leave, and I said we're getting out of here alive. Merck's face turned so red when that large senorita sat on his lap. Whoa! But anyway, you have another photo.
The last thing I think I heard him say was, "It hadn't been this good since the Bulldog." Really about a personal humiliation story.
They're the best.
This was at our wedding, and right after that, so we've got most of our relatives there, including like my 85-year-old grandma and her parents, and the normal crowd of friends and other associated people.
crowd.
And at the end, these guys said, "Oh, well, we got a gift for you." So they called us up there, and they knew Dreama very well. So they understood that if they gave a bottle of wild turkey, that she'd be on board. And if they gave her a whip, I would be on board.
You would be on board. That's right.
All I can say is at the end, in spite of what our parents thought, everything worked well.
There you go. All that matters.
And Zip's dad collected these chili peppers.
Oh, yeah.
But they were in a little bottle.
I'm not driving.
And it was like nothing I had ever seen. It was like a dry leaf with seeds on it. And he dared us as men to eat these things. And even though I was seriously drunk, I knew I should not do it. But you did.
Yes.
And I still remember the next morning looking in as you're laying in bed and
Dying?
you've been drinking wild turkey all night and you had ate those peppers.
Oh boy.
And
Yeah.
you look like the demon out of The Exorcist. Well, I wish I had a picture of
And
it.
I had a plane to catch at 1 in the afternoon.
Well, the other thing that I can remember that happened right at that point was my dad came down and he woke you up.
With
And he
a
gave you a shot of vodka.
shot of vodka and a pepper. And I did it. I ate the pepper and downed the vodka.
But you claimed that you would never survive.
Yeah, I barely survived that. Good times. Good times. Well, here, you know what? I got to do one more.
I 4 photos. No, I just thought I'd put a couple photos in there.
Okay, well, let me do this one. This is the last one. The day we graduated from West Point, some of us, and some of you may remember this, we stopped,
thanks.
remember, at the trading post? Okay, trading post. Well, unfortunately, my mom and dad had rented out one of the most expensive restaurants in Queens, New York. Invited 150 of our closest neighbors and friends for almost like a wedding-like reception for my graduation. Okay? Well, the reception would have gone from like 4 to 8. And we got there 2 hours late. Not only was I 2 hours late,
Do you know why?
And drunk.
Do you know why?
I was half drunk.
No.
So
You had taken me. I went with you to JFK, and you were going to take me to the airport.
So this is the point. And I'm glad you spoke up because I walked into this place with my father and mother and everyone waiting for me. See me in my blues for the first time. You can see I'm half lit. But who is this strange woman behind me?
With long hair.
She walks in with me. She's got an engagement ring on. I'm half drunk, and of course I'm not reading the room. So people start saying, you know, Jerry got engaged. My dad nearly shit his pants. And then, you know, I didn't deny it. So that was my worst, you know, my worst mistake.
Well, they thought you were gonna end up with Cheeser.
He should be so lucky.
Or the bulldog.
So, frankly, I still don't remember how we got you to the airport.
I do not either.
Because it's one of these, you know, like the first photo I was drunk here. I'm pretty sure I drove you.
Yeah, you did.
I'm pretty sure I drove you.
Okay, and then there's the next photo to go on to.
Well, and I said all's well that ends well.
GT, you know
It was
what?
before Uber.
GT, you know what I love about the pictures though?
What?
Your dad is beaming proud. It's like his face is burst with pride.
Anyway, so all's well that ended well. Everything is. Because really, it was what, like 2-3 weeks later, you guys got married. Right? It was only a couple weeks later.
Does Luigi have a beard?
Yeah, he had a little growth then.
Well, he didn't shave it.
You still have the.
Same all week. The whole trip around.
Okay, does anyone else want to tell a story? Because we'll end the official activities for the evening and you guys keep drinking and having fun. All right, is that it?
As you can tell, I was in the wedding.
Okay.
They made me.
Oh, we made him there.
Honey, we have to make sure they get the raffle ticket so we can do the quick raffle before they go.
Okay, I didn't turn it off, it's still recording.